drama, shade, and deleted receipts. The Love Island USA Season 7 reunion promised answers, but instead, it left us with even more questions. Why did Netflix clap back at Huda? Why did Nic finally unfollow her after weeks of silence? And what really went down with Ace and that infamous heart rate challenge? Today, we're breaking it all down, and trust me, this reunion was not the love story fans signed up for. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the hottest reality TV drama and celebrity news. As always, everything discussed here is alleged, based on reports and opinions, and meant purely for entertainment. So grab your tea, because this one is piping hot. Let's start with the reunion itself. 2 hours long. 2 hours, and yet, somehow, the main storylines we wanted barely got any airtime. Instead, we were dragged through unnecessary side plots, like Amaya and Brian or Peppa and Iris, knowing full well those relationships have already crashed and burned. Fans expected clarity, accountability, and maybe even closure. What we got instead was a carefully edited distraction that avoided the hottest issues until the very end. Now, let's talk about that infamous heart rate challenge. For those who don't know, the challenge stirred major controversy in the villa. But when it finally came up in the reunion, it was brushed aside almost immediately. Here's where things get interesting. Jeremiah, a former cast member, claimed that Ace was actually questioned about his role in the challenge. According to Jeremiah, Ace gave a full response, but all of it was cut out of the final broadcast. Why? That's the million-dollar question. Did producers protect Ace? Or were they protecting the overall image of the show? Either way, it leaves fans wondering what truth was left on the cutting room floor. Moving on to the most talked-about moment, Huda's so-called legal gag order. When Andy Cohen pressed her about her connection to Louis, she repeatedly claimed she couldn't talk about it for legal reasons. She insisted Netflix would come after her if she revealed anything. But here's the problem, Huda isn't under contract with Netflix. Louis might be, sure, but that excuse fell apart quickly. Even Netflix themselves chimed in on social media, posting, "Don't at me. IDK. IDK. 3 exclamation points. Translation? They weren't buying Huda's excuse either. So why did she say it? Some fans believe Louis convinced her to keep quiet, blaming Netflix as a cover. Others say it's just another example of Huda dodging accountability. Either way, she spent the entire reunion deflecting, apologizing without really apologizing, and avoiding straight answers. And it did not go unnoticed. Now let's get into Nic, because his storyline took a turn. After weeks of defending Huda, even while Alandria, his own partner, was publicly hurting from racist attacks and online hate, Nic finally unfollowed Huda. But here's the problem. It took way too long. According to reports, Alandria knew about the racist memes and even the horrifying George Floyd image targeting her and Shelley. She confronted Huda about it long before they returned to the States. Yet Nic continued to defend Huda publicly, going live, calling her bullied, and indirectly throwing shade at Alandria and Shelley. So why stay connected to someone causing so much pain? Some say Nic was afraid of Huda's fanbase, afraid of the backlash on TikTok or Twitter. But in the process, he alienated his own supporters, an entire community that had been hyping him and Alandria daily. By the time he finally unfollowed Huda, it felt less like a stand and more like damage control. And this brings us to the bigger issue, accountability. Reality TV thrives on drama, but there's a line. When racism, bullying, and gaslighting enter the picture, silence isn't neutral, it's harmful. Huda's refusal to name names meant the backlash fell directly on Alandria and Shelley, fueling even more hate toward them. And Nic's hesitation to cut ties only added to the confusion. At the end of the day, fans want honesty. They want their favorites to stand on business, to call out what's wrong instead of hiding behind vague excuses or brand loyalty. This reunion could have been a moment of truth. Instead, it felt like smoke and mirrors. So, what do you think? Was Huda really silenced by Netflix, or was it all a cover for Louis? Should Nic have unfollowed her weeks ago, or do you think he was just trying to keep the peace? And do you believe Ace's missing heart rate challenge comments will ever see the light of day? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button so this video gets out to more fans. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on so you don't miss the next deep dive. Because trust me, we're just getting started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.